Welcome to another edition of Hey Bobby with Senior VP of the Cleveland Guardians, our good friend Bob DiBiasio with us. And Bob, I just wanted to start out. I've been talking about it on the air. How I took my mother to a game, first time in 53 years, and what an experience he had. And then I started to think, how many times each and every home game that the experience, and you would often talk about it, whether it be food, the big scoreboard, whatever, the things going on in the field, and of course the baseball team, all that going on, you guys touch each and every day. I saw my mother's eyes big as saucers there for the baseball game Saturday night, but that's probably something you see in one way or another almost every home game from the fans that come to the ballpark.
That whole concept that you just talked about is why we say we have to be more than just about wins and losses. While that's the engine that makes this thing go, are the players and the wins and the losses and playing good baseball and being in first place with a pennant race coming up here for a divisional title the month of September. But we have to be about more than just those wins and losses as an entertainment venue and take care of people who are 5 years old or 90 plus years old and making sure they have the total fan experience when they come to Progressive Field. So whether it's been as long as your mother's trip to the ballpark, or whether it's 5 years, or people who come in from out of town to visit relatives and they haven't been to our ballpark in 5, 10 years, it's our job to make sure they have an enjoyable time.
You know, what's interesting? I said, well, what do you want to eat? And she said, what do you mean to eat? I said, well, part of the ballpark experience is all the choices she had. She said, well, I just want a hot dog.
Yeah, of course.
I said, well, it's the most pie. She bit into the hot dog. She knows about our friendship. And she says, I want you to text Mr. DiBiasio and I want you to ask him what type of hot dog this. She said, this is the best hot dog I've ever had in my life.
Well, it's because it was at the ballpark. Yeah, Sugardale, baby, Sugardale, of course.
Yeah, that's what I told her. I said,
that's so. Yeah, you sent me pictures of you and your mom, texted me photos. I was so bummed I wasn't at that ball game that night. We had family in town for Labor Day, and everybody was at our place, and I didn't want to have my wife have to deal with that all by herself, having
oh,
almost 40 people around the house. But um, I wish I would have been there to sit with your mother and enjoy a few innings. That would have been wonderful. Exchanging sauce recipes and such would have been
oh yeah.
fun.
And people might not know this, but Bobby's Italian family is from the same region in Italy that my Italian family is from, the Cassette region. So that would have been an interesting conversation.
Yes, it would.
Hey, you mentioned pennant races. It's, obviously we want to win the division. Pennant races are fun and we want to get out in front, and we don't want to be in a pennant race. We want to clinch this thing, but really makes for exciting baseball over the next few weeks, including those Twins coming into the ballpark in just a couple of weeks for a big 4-game set.
Yeah, what do we have? 24, 23, somewhere in there, games remaining. Most importantly, 13 of our last 16 games of the 2024 regular season are at home, where we have, I think, still the best record in all of home record in all of baseball. Big 4-game set versus Minnesota, who has put themselves a little bit in front of the Kansas City Royals. It's still a 3-team race with us, the Twins and the Royals. 4-game set, September 16th through the 19th, Monday, and our next homestand, Monday through Thursday. So that's going to be huge. The last 3 of our home schedule are against Houston, who has probably been the best team in baseball, certainly since the All-Star break, and have put themselves in a position where they're now 5, 6, 7 games up on the Mariners or something like that. So that'll be a big one, because the whole goal is to be one of the 2 best teams record-wise in the American League. That guarantees you that and in terms of winning your division, the two top teams record-wise that win their division get a bye. They don't have to play in the wild card series. And so you get rid of that, and then you jump into the division series. And right now, we would be number 2. Doesn't matter that the Orioles, let's say right now, the Orioles and Yankees are tied at 80 wins, and we have 79, somewhere in there. It doesn't matter that the Orioles could end up being in second place with more wins. That doesn't matter. It's division winners. So those 3 games against Houston at the end of the year could be really huge for us, so that we don't have to play those wild card series, the best out of 3, which is real difficult.
So glad they changed. Remember that wild card for a while was one game?
One game,
Make
yeah.
all? Oh my goodness.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. So I think when we look at it, adding Matthew Boyd, Alex Cobb, the way Gavin Williams threw the ball the other night at Kansas City, Tanner Bybee, Ben Lively, I think our guys, once again, our baseball operation guys, Chris and Cherney and the group, put together a 5-man rotation here that's just rounding into form for the final month of the season, which couldn't be better for us to go along with the best bullpen in baseball.
I was just going to say that, the best bullpen in baseball as well. Speaking of pitching, how about maybe Carl Willis? We don't talk a whole lot about the job this veteran pitching coach does, but he's been given a whole handful of different personalities, different people to get the job done. But here it is again. You mentioned best bullpen in baseball, the starters rounding in the shape, and Carl just goes about doing his job, Bobby.
Yeah, he does. Let's give a little shout out to Carl Willis, little bio here on him for people who may not know enough about this guy, who is one of the best pitching coaches in all of baseball. He's 63 years old. He is a North Carolina guy, went to North Carolina, University of North Carolina at Wilmington. He absolutely, that Carolina blue is his blood color. There's no question about it. He's in the University of North Carolina Wilmington Hall of Fame, as he was a big time player there. He was a baseball player in high school. He was a 23rd round draft pick of the Detroit Tigers in 1983, and had a 9-year big league career. He actually pitched in relief. I think he only had 2 starts in his entire 9-year career in the big leagues. But he pitched for the 84 Tigers and the 91 Twins. So he's been on 2 World Series championship teams in their bullpens. So he actually, jumped into the Tigers a year after being drafted. He was a relief guy on that team. Didn't pitch a whole lot for them, obviously, just being drafted the year before, but has been a part of our organization for a long, long time. 7th year now in a row that he's our pitching coach. This is his 2nd stint as a pitching coach with us, as he was with us from 03 to 09, and has certainly coached a few Cy Young Award winners, and CC Cliff Lee and Shane Bieber. Just a terrific guy.
Bobby talks about they know what they're doing in the front office. Carl knows what he's doing in the dugout as well as a pitching coach. There you go. Another edition of Hey Bobby with Senior VP of the Guardians, Bob DiBiasio, with us on WAKR. Bobby, we'll do it again next week.
Thank you, Ray. Always a treat. Go Guardians.